Hi, this is the Stars Tarot, and welcome to this pick a card reading. A couple of weeks ago, I did a poll and I asked you what type of theme you would like me to cover for a pick a card reading. And one of the outcomes was about career and business. So today we're going to have a closer look at career, jobs, business, any kind of work related themes. And as you can see, I have three cards in front of me that will represent pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And in a second, I will give you an image from above to make the choice of which pile to pick a bit easier. And we're going to just really look at what kind of energies is surrounding career and business. So really having a close look at what's going on currently, what you need to pay attention to, what opportunities are there for you, and just in general an overview of what you need to be aware of or what is important for you to know about career, jobs, your own business if you're self-employed, and so on. So choose a pile and then we'll have a closer look at what these particular decks have to say about the theme of career. And these are your choices for your pick a card reading. From left to right, pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3. If you're not entirely sure which pile to pick, you can also choose one of the crystals that is above the card. On the left we have, I believe, red jasper. In the middle, pile number 2, that is rose quartz. And pile number 3 is malachite, if I'm not mistaken. The color might seem a little bit off because of the light, but it's kind of like a dark greenish color. So if you're unsure about the card, maybe the crystal will help you to make the final decision on which pile to choose. And let's go to your readings. Hello, and if you chose pile number 1, then this is your card. It is the Judgment card. And the Judgment card signals a higher calling. So just as an overall theme, if you pick this pile, then it might be the case that you are currently, feeling like you're at a crossroads, that you either need a higher calling so that you can feel more fulfilled, or that you have just found that and perhaps you made a big career switch, maybe you've just changed jobs. But in whatever the situation is, this is really signifying that there's a need to feel connected to something more than you've had in the past. So you may be going through a time of sort of self-exploration. Maybe you've been recently doubting what kind of path to take. And this card is really saying that a high calling is something that you really need in order to feel like you have a purpose. And of course, that's always sorry, yes, my cat is going crazy in the background. But to have a higher purpose, and of course, this is something that I think we all strive for in our careers and in our work, is to feel that you have a connection with something that is maybe going beyond just yourself. So this card is really signaling that sort of change or that sort of energy. So this is the card for the theme of career in general. So we're going to pick up the full tarot deck and let's see what else comes out. I'm going to just put this crystal aside. And let's just shuffle the deck and ask what messages can be revealed to us about career for those of you who picked pile number 1. So if you picked pile number 1, what are the messages that we need to be aware of in terms of career, job, business? What is important to know? What's important to be aware of when it comes to career? What is important for those of you in pile number 1? What's important for you to know? What is important for you to know about your career for those of you who picked pile number 1? Whoops, a whole bunch fell out. Just gonna change my way of shuffling. Let's see. It's important for those who chose pile number 1 to know about their career. What do they need to be aware of? Oh wow. Okay, that's a lovely card. So we'll get to the cards in a second. Just want to pick one more. Maybe let's ask also what opportunities are there in terms of career. For pile number 1, what opportunities are there for those who chose this pile in terms of career, business, jobs in general? Okay. All right, let's have a look at this. So first off, it is the World card, which is really a lovely card and actually not that dissimilar in a way to the previous card, the Judgment card. That was sort of like the overarching theme for pile number 1. The World card is also about connectiveness and that higher calling, feeling like you are connected on a higher spiritual level to the world. But it also signals the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. And a new one in the sense of that you're ascending to sort of like a new leveling up. So that maybe if you know a little bit about the tarot, that may sound a little bit similar as well to the Death card, which is also about transformation and transition. But whereas the Death card is about the ending of a phase and the transformation into something completely different, the World card is more about ending a chapter, but you are writing your next chapter. So it's a continuation, but a continuation from a higher, more spiritual, more worldly perspective. And so this is really a lovely card because the Judgment card signaled that there's either a real self-realization going on at the moment, and that self-realization is leading you to make quite a big decision. So I think if you pick this pile, you're probably on the cusps of making a big decision whether or not, if you currently have a job, whether or not you should stay in that, or you've just accepted a job that feels more authentic, that feels more like you, that feels more like something that you aspire to be. And this card I see as a confirmation that if that's a situation or a circumstance that you're currently in, then this card is a confirmation that you are on the right path. What you are doing or what you are thinking of is definitely leading to something bigger and better, something that makes you feel more valued, more secure, more authentic, as I said. And any self-doubt that you may have had about which direction to go in is kind of disappearing because you have been, reevaluating what you have been doing up until this point. So this is really a signal that whatever field of career you're in, it is expanding, and it's expanding to a way where you are also feeling more connected to yourself. So that's really, really a good card. And actually the world can also sometimes indicate the internet. So therefore the connectedness with the world can also be sort of like a literal sense. So maybe if you work in IT or, something like that related, then this is also the signal that this is something that mirrors your authenticity, that mirrors the growth that you should be heading to. So really, really a good card. So that's something you need to be aware of, because that was the question that I was asking as I was shuffling. And then also the Four of Wands came out, and the Four of Wands is such a lovely card as well. It's a card about celebration, but not just celebration on your, because of your own achievements, but celebration in terms of a community. And you can see in this card, it looks very festive. There's dancing. There's sort of like this communal area in the shape of a tent. So there's a type of achievement that has been reached, And it's also time to acknowledge that and time to celebrate that part. Uh, and you celebrate that, with others, to recognize how far you've come and what you have already, what you've already pulled off. It's kind of like enjoying the fruits of your labor. So this sounds, for pie one, if you pick this really sounds like that change that is coming, or that change that you've kind of set in motion, is really opening up such a joyful, celebratory energy in which you feel really part of a community, part of something bigger. And because you had that judgment card as the theme, I also felt like that is something that you had been missing quite a lot before in your previous line of work. You felt quite isolated, and maybe it was the type of work was maybe too individualistic, and maybe that suited you at that time. But there's a whole, world opening up to you, like quite literally, like this world is indicating that, you're leveling up, you're growing into something, bigger, and maybe even bigger than you even thought was possible. So this reevaluation which you've gone through, has really made you realize what it is that you actually needed. And I think that's such an encouraging message, because when we step back and, we kind of get ourselves separated from insecurities or doubt or chaos, it is always good to kind of contemplate what works for us and what doesn't. And apparently you found a really good perspective or angle on how to move forward and how to proceed and how to get the best outcome for you. So that's a really amazing message. And then I asked about career opportunities, and the Seven of Wands came out of the deck. The Seven of Wands is actually, something a bit more spiritual related, but I mean, that doesn't mean that it cannot be connected to work or career. The Seven of Wands is about drawing a line in the sand to kind of like stand your ground and to find the calm within. So I think what is meant with this card in terms of opportunities in your work is that because you've chosen this path of a higher calling, of authenticity, of opening up your own perceptions to something that feels more enlightened. You've opened yourself up to the fact that you are now maybe much more feeling like you're capable of standing up for yourself. Maybe this used to be a challenge, that it was quite difficult for you in your work, to say no and to stand up for yourself or to make yourself heard. So I think the opportunity here is that you're learning to not always be on the defensive anymore, because you also don't need to be on the defensive anymore, because there is, this sense of community and this sense of belonging that's here. And it's showing that you don't always have to feel attacked if you go just within and find your own calming center, and you say, no, I do not accept this, or no, this is not the actual situation. And you find that inner light of yourself and you shine that outward, then you also feel much more at peace and calm and feeling that you can handle anything that's coming your way. So the opportunity here is more in I want to say in a more spiritual manner. It gives you the opportunity to tap into something that previously might have been a bit of an obstacle for you. And this whole shift, this whole change has really opened you up to a new set of skills in a way, I believe personally that it's quite a skill to be able to say no in your line of work. I mean, I'm certainly not always good at that, but it's also really good to show boundaries and to say, like, what, I can't do this extra task because I'm gonna be doing this in my personal time. So the opportunity that is there is really one of self-growth, and finding how to communicate better and how to preserve your energy. Because by saying no, you're also looking after your own, self being, your own self care. So that's a really lovely message. So I just want to grab the Angel Answers Oracle deck because I just want to find out if there's like another final message that needs to come out for pile number one. Okay, for those of you who chose pile number one, is there anything that you should be aware of? Anything else that we should know as a final message for the people that picked pile number one? What do you need to be aware of? What do you need to be aware of? Pile number one. Any final messages? Any final messages about career for pile number one? Nothing wants to fly off the deck, so I'm just going to do it differently. Any messages for those of you that picked pile number one? Anything that pile number one needs to know about career, job, business? What is it that they need to know for pile number one? Okay, I'm going to go for this one. Recovery. Okay. Yeah, that kind of feels like it's quite in line with what I've been saying. So I feel that the job or the work situation before has maybe drawn a lot of energy out of you. And the Seven of Wands, that opportunity of like self-growth and boundaries, is certainly indicating that maybe you've maybe if you've not taken care of yourself enough in your previous work, and maybe the boundaries that needed to be drawn weren't there, and therefore it cost you a lot of energy, and it has cost you, quite a lot of anxiety. But this recovery card is really saying that you are now, because of your review on your career, you are now entering a phase where you can gather your strength again. So this is really a nice way of saying, like, you know what, your change of mindset and your action steps that you have been taken or are going to take, because you have been rethinking, your path, are going to allow you to feel more energetic. So it's almost like I'm feeling quite like a lot of replenishment with this card. Like, whereas you before had to really like scramble to, get out of bed and do the things that you needed to do and get yourself motivated to, tackle the tasks ahead. Like, that is something that will become much more easier from now on. So you will actually feel, you actually feel happy to do those tasks and, take the responsibilities that you will now have. It will not feel like such an effort. So this recovery is, it's just a really nice light type of energy that's showing to you, like you've done such a good job on thinking about where you fit, that you set in motion a recovery of mental balance, of feeling more energetic in your body and being more grounded. So overall, this, even though this is not necessarily about, like very physical career advice, I think this is just maybe the message that you needed to hear in order to kind of get that confirmation of what you have set in motion or what you are thinking of, that is actually the correct way to move forward. And it is. So this is your confirmation for moving forward and step into that light and go towards that, personal growth, that leveling up in terms of your career. I hope that was helpful, and see you next time. Hi, for those of you who chose pile number 2, this is your card. And this card signals the overarching theme of career. So the overarching theme here is temperance. And temperance is a card of moderation, balance, the joining of two forces into a positive equilibrium, and, having a bit more of a wait and see kind of attitude, because there's something larger at work that still needs to develop and come together. So this card as a job could actually signal something in the health industry. So maybe if you pick this pile, maybe you are a nurse, or maybe you have a different kind of health professional position. But it could also be because it's about joining two forces and two opposite forces usually, and sort of channel that into something more calm. So it could also be that perhaps you are a mediator or a diplomat or something where you negotiate peace, where it's important for you to negotiate peace. So that is the overall theme. Let's see how this, this energy of this card about moderation and patience and health, let's see how that features into the rest of the reading. But that's the card for now that came out as you pick this pile. Okay, so we had Temperance, and let's just ask which other, what other energies you need to be aware of in terms of your career, in terms of your job, for those of you who chose pile number 2. Let's just see what else comes up. What does pile number 2 need to be aware of in terms of career, business, jobs? What can you tell us about career? Pile number 2. All right, Knight of Wands fell out, sorry. Let's see if something else wants to come out. For pile number 2, what do they need to be aware of in terms of, that was just bad shuffling. What needs pile number 2, what do they need to be aware of in terms of their career, work? That one wanted to definitely come out. What do you want to be aware of? Okay, and I want to draw one more card, see if one more card wants to come out in terms of what the next opportunity is. What is the next opportunity in the career for those of you that picked pile number 2? What is the next opportunity for those of you that chose pile number 2? What's the next opportunity in career work? For those of you that chose number 2. Okay, that doesn't really want to move. Those cards are kind of like just struggling. What is the next career opportunity that comes up for people that have chosen pile number 2? Well, actually, this one is kind of like sticking out of the rest. Ooh, interesting. Okay, let's have a closer look at the cards that came for this reading. Okay, so the first card, the Knight of Wands. This is a card of fire. It's the Knight of Wands is a fire energy, and the wands always represent sort of life force, spirituality, action, passion. So in terms of what you need to be aware of in your career at the moment is that something is moving ahead. This knight is like clearly on the way to somewhere and is like sticking out the wand that he's holding. But there's a lot of movement in this card. So apparently something that you need to be aware of in your career currently is that maybe there's a project or maybe there's an action that you've taken, but it has set something in motion. And it has set something in motion in which you have felt a bit more empowered, more engaged, and feeling like you are, taking more charge. So maybe you've opened up to, if you have a job and you have managers, maybe you've opened up to your managers and said, you know what, I actually have this vision. I think I can see where we can lead the company towards. Or maybe this has been your own idea from your own business, but it's really kind of like sparked a fire in you. And it's quite of an opposite energy from this first card, from Temperance, because this card is about moderation and balance and harmony and patience. And this is really like taking charge, moving ahead, not standing still. So something has sparked a bit of, a fire that was maybe really needed for you to feel inspired again, or that is coming your way. It could also be that next week, after you've watched this reading and you kind of like sit with certain ideas, and maybe something will come to fruition, or something is going to manifest as you take a certain action. So a really nice energy that's actually coming in. But then also this more challenging card. This card was also coming out as I was asking more about what do you need to be aware of. This is a card of restriction. It's the Eight of Swords, and swords are connected to your thinking patterns, basically the mental realm, so thoughts, any sort of ideas that you may have in terms of career. And as I said, it's a card of restriction, which you can really see well illustrated in this card. I mean, this lady is surrounded by these swords, and she's tied up. But in general, for the Eight of Swords, it's a bit of a self-inflicting restriction. And the reason that it's self-inflicting, it's because she's not tied, that solidly. I mean, if she would try, she can wiggle her way out and she would be free. And because it's relating to the mental realm, or to your thoughts and ideas, it means that you are imposing that restriction on yourself. So there's like a bit of a clash of energies here. So maybe there is something at the moment that's going on where you want to take action, but you're also afraid to take action. You're also a bit, in self-doubt and wondering if that is the best thing to do. And therefore you're kind of moving in this, status quo of not doing really anything, because these are really opposite energies. So I wonder what is going on within your job, your career, or your maybe you own a business. What's going on that's making you kind of fearful? Because there's definitely this motivation and this will and desire to move forward, but you're self-imposing something that is just restricting your idea of how to approach this. So it's quite interesting that the Temperance came up, because this is actually a card about balancing opposing forces. So I just want to get a clarification on this Eight of Swords. Like, what is this about? What can you tell us about this Eight of Swords? All right, okay, so here the King of Swords fell out. The King of Swords is usually a card of, it can actually signify a literal person. So it could be like someone in the higher up ranks who's quite cold and quite harsh, and who can be a bit maybe too rational and not really listening to anything else, because it's a king and his sort of his or her. The king can also signify a female. But it's someone who, has the last word, basically. So I wonder if this self-imposing, restriction of wanting to do something, but, kind of stepping back, has something to do with a fear of the type of reaction that you will receive. But then also the Chariot came out of the deck. And the Chariot is a card, again, also actually about having opposing forces, but it's different than Temperance, because what sets the Chariot card apart from Temperance is that there's two horses here, and this figure is really skillfully mastering these two horses, who are kind of pulling this man forward to the ocean, but with a different type of pace. But the Chariot master, so to speak, is making sure that these horses are in alignment. So there's a message here that this restriction that you are putting on yourself, you need to overcome this by balancing these two forces within you, of like, okay, let's do, let's not, let's move forward, let's not. Like, take the message from the Knight of Wands and saying, you know what, it's safe for you to charge ahead. It's safe for you to move towards this vision or this idea or this inspiration that you have, because it's valid. It's valid to be heard. And it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if, this person that you might be that you might be hesitant about. This person could be very easily respond in a much different way than you expect. And in any event, should you really be calculating someone else's response in the way that you are possibly doing right now? Because by not honoring your own ideas and your own energy and your own will and desire to make a type of change, you're also restricting someone else from hearing that idea or vision. So I think this is less about, this is less about the fear itself, but of trying to release the control that you are putting on yourself. There's these two cards here, this Knight of Wands and the Chariot, are really positive messages. So try to, cut yourself loose from this imprisonment that you're putting on yourself, and see this person as that whatever you're going to present, and maybe this is also sort of like the dualistic energies within yourself, but whatever you're going to present, it doesn't really matter so much whether or not you get a harsh response. At least you will get an honest response, because this king can be harsh, but they can be honest. And I feel that you're shooting yourself a bit in the foot if you don't share the thoughts and the ideas that you have, because there is a real clear movement forward here. Look at this. There's so much action and energy in these both cards. And this is really about a situation where you have to combine those two opposite forces within yourself to come to a harmonious energy. So try to put that fear aside, and just go with this inspirational energy that you're feeling. This is your momentum that's going on. And because the Temperance came out, I really feel that this will have a good conclusion. This will be something that will make you feel in much more of a leadership stance in terms of asserting your own ideas and beliefs. So the energy of harmony and moderation are here. So there is this, on the one hand, this sort of like harsh energy and action, but there's also the energy of things will come together and it will be channeled in the right direction. So cut yourself loose from this and step forward. Shine your light and be confident, because this knight is very confident. So become that confidence and don't let yourself be held back. And I just want to see from the Angel Answers deck what it is that you need to know. Are there any other messages that Pile 2 needs to know about their career? What does Pile 2 need to hear? Well, recovery, but I think this is more a misshuffle, because I actually had the same card for Pile 1 that popped out. So I'm just going to put that back in the deck and continue shuffling. Let's just see for Pile 2. What else does Pile 2 need to know about their career, work, romance falls out. Let's see if there's another card. What does Pile 2 need to know about their career, their job, their business? Any important messages for Pile 2 to know? Any important messages for Pile 2 to know? Any important messages for Pile 2 to know about their career, their job, their business? What do they need to know? What's Pile 2 need to know about this career theme? Oh, yes. Okay. Well, okay. This is a confirmation really of moving forward. And I also drew a romance. So I think what these cards are trying to say is that by taking the action of this knight, you will also bring a sense of like falling back in love with your job, or falling back in love with what you do. There's something here that needs to be overcome, but I feel because of that Eight of Swords, it's more internal than anything. This is not something that comes from outside of yourself. You are imposing yourself. You are placing yourself in front of obstacles that don't need to be there. So you will fall back in love when you chase this vision, this idea, this inspirational momentum that you have. It will make you feel. I think it also will make you feel much more secure and calm about your work, because the moment you step beyond that boundary, you will bring more peace within you, and that is what that Temperance card is saying. Like there's going to be moderation again, and yes, it's just a double confirmation that whatever you are thinking of, whether it's an idea or an action or a talk that you're going to have. The answer is yes. This will work out in your favor. This will be fine. This will come into an equilibrium that is much needed. And maybe, I'm even sensing that maybe this King of Swords, because this King of Swords is also someone who will have respect. So I actually think by stepping forward, you will also gain the respect of someone that's, higher up in the ranking, that's higher up in the hierarchy. So don't pull yourself back. Show yourself. There's enough confirmation here to let you know that this is valid. This energy is very valid, and it will come to a good head. Like it will come to a nice momentum that will give you a sense of understanding. It will give you an understanding of where your place is in this and how you can build upon that. Maybe there's this hurdle is there for you to really kind of like deal with a core issue that maybe comes from childhood, any type of insecurity. But this is the moment to deal with that. So don't be afraid. Don't hold yourself back. You can do this. You have like the Yes card. Like you have such a good confirmation here. So I hope that this resonated, and I hope that this was helpful. I hope that this is a message that actually fits the situation that you are in. And hopefully see you next time. Hi and welcome. This is the reading for pile number 3. So if you've chosen pile number 3, then this is the card that signifies the theme of career, job, work, whether or not you own maybe your own business. And the card that is signifying the theme is the Fool. And the Fool is a card of new beginnings. So it's quite possible that you have chosen to go into a completely new line of work. And the Fool is, sort of this optimistic new start. But it's also a card of like just sort of going ahead and being a little bit unaware sometimes of the consequences of that. This is someone who has like really like a blind faith, which is a really lovely, lovely type of energy. But it can also, have this little bit of a downside of like, okay, have you really considered what you're getting yourself into? So a new start, a new beginning, something that is at least adventurous in in that sense of having blind faith. So it feels like you're opening yourself up to new possibilities and to new new alternatives. So that is the overarching theme for this reading. Let's now go to the deck and see what else comes out. So I'm just going to ask for pile 3. What does pile 3 need to be aware of in terms of career? What does pile 3 need to be aware of in terms of career? I just dropped half of the deck, so sometimes my shuffling is really bad. So I just dropped a couple of cards. I just had to get that from the floor. All right, so for pile number 3, what does pile number 3 need to know, need to be aware of in terms of their career, their job situation, their self-owned business? What does pile 3 need to be aware of? Whoops, what do they need to know? That's also half of the deck again. Pile number 3, what needs to be aware of? This pile number 3 needs to be aware of in terms of business, career, job situation, business. Pile number 3. Okay, the moon, let's continue. What does pile 3 need to be aware of in terms of business, career, job situation? Okay, 10 of Wands. So I just want to pull one more. Is there anything more for pile number 3 that they need to be aware of in terms of opportunities? What is coming their way? What opportunity is coming in the way of pile number 3 in terms of career, business? Okay, all right, let's see. Let's dig into this. All right, so first off, the moon, which is really not something that normally would signify something about career or anything like that. This is more a card about the subconscious. It feels also because the next card was the 10 of Wands, and the 10 of Wands is a card of, feeling like you're carrying a heavy burden. So it seems more that you are currently... I wonder with this Fool, because like I said before, the Fool is signaling this sort of like new way that you're treading, but you haven't really thought of maybe all the consequences properly. I wonder if subconsciously this is something that is bothering you. I think that you kind of have a job situation, or just career situation in general, where you said yes to something maybe a bit too fast. And now you're doubting that decision. Now you're doubting whether or not that was a good choice to say yes to something so wholeheartedly with the best intentions, and I think with a lot of optimism because it excited you. But deep down, you're kind of now wondering with the moon, like, oh, did I actually bit off more than I can chew, or what is the expression? There's a feeling of like, oh, damn, okay. Was this something that I should have? Was this something that I should have done? So the moon is representing that feeling of like, ugh, maybe I just didn't know everything that I needed to know just yet, and you kind of made a decision based on information that wasn't fully disclosed. And like I said, the 10 of Wands is sort of like reaffirming that message that. Because you have doubts, or because there's this lingering, nagging feeling of like, oh, okay, what did I do? You feel burdened, and you can see, the figure in this card, this camel, looks a bit stressed. There's a lot of anxiety, and you're carrying a burden that you're not really sure on how to move ahead with. So there's something about this, the Fool card, where it seemed really nice, but maybe it seemed too good to be true in a way. Like there might have been something that was just not fully disclosed to you, so you didn't have the proper information to go on. So maybe you even feel a bit fooled, actually, literally, now that I think of that. Maybe you feel a bit fooled. That could be definitely something that's going on here in the energy. Then we also got the 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands is actually a really nice card. It's a card of communication and a lot of messages coming in, and on a very fast pace. So I wonder, let's just find out if that means that the messages that are coming in, this communication that you are going to receive, if that's going to relieve you a little bit, if those messages are going to be more positive to ease your mind. So for pile number 3, can I get a clarification on the 8 of Wands? Can I get a clarification on the 8 of Wands? Pile number 3, can I get a clarification on the 8 of Wands in terms of career? Can I get a situation, and the Eight of Wands. Clarification for pile number 3. The Eight of Wands in terms of career, job situation. 3. Okay. Oh, the Magician. Okay, yes. There are messages that are going to come in that are going to be positive. So if you really connect with this, burden feeling and this, doubt and anxiety about the current situation, then there are messages going to come in that are going to make you feel much more relieved. Because the Magician is a card of manifestation, and the Magician in particular is someone who has a set of skills that brings all the elements all together in order to manifest your outcome, to manifest your desire. So I think there is going to be that missing piece of information that is going to come that make you go like, okay, now I know everything, and now I can make an informed decision on how to go ahead and what next step to take. So don't despair. There is positivity coming in here. But I understand the feeling that you might have here, because this was a bit like, oops, this seemed so nice, but did I do the right thing? But the Magician is telling you that there is going to be, you will feel much more empowered in all of this. You will start seeing all the missing puzzle pieces and go like, okay, this is how I should see it. This is now the more overview that I was looking for, and that makes sense, because sometimes we can feel burdened, and we just kind of, just feel drained, and because you feel drained, you're also not thinking clear. So it's kind of a whole row of consequences that can sort of transpire. But you will get messages that are going to come in that will be much more positive, and that will actually maybe start a bit of a new cycle again. Because what's funny here is that the Fool is card number 0 and the Magician is card number 1. And I would say that, this decision of the Fool that was kind of like not considering enough is leading now to something that will have a real start. So you will be able to turn the situation around. Okay, now let's just ask from the Angel Answers Oracle deck what else that it is that you need to know. Pile number 3, what do they need to know? What's important for them for pile number 3 to know? What does pile number 3 need to be aware of? So this fell out. Listen to your intuition fell out. Okay, so it's clearly important not to miss any, sort of like feeling in your gut that is telling you something. Listen to your intuition. There's like signals there that will tell you which way to go. Let's just see what else for pile number 3. I'm going to go pile number 3. Okay, I'm getting peaceful resolution. So that makes sense with these messages or this communication coming in. That will make you feel more in place. That will make you feel more in line with the initial feeling that you had. I think that initial feeling will return. That's way too much. Just one final message for clarification. Pile number 3. What do they need to be aware of in terms of their career situation, their job? Pile number 3. What do you need to know? What do you need to be aware of? Jeez, everything is flying out. I feel there's lots of energy going on in this this pile that you've picked. Like a lot of energy that's kind of like shifting very quickly. But like really like a swept up energy, like someone is like, I kind of see someone with like a whip, like the whip, like okay, get into action. Jeez, this 8 of Wands, those messages it's gonna come in fast. I really feel that you do not have to wait long for this. You will get much more clarity. Okay, let's see what else. Is there anything else that wants to come out for pile number 3? Within the next few months. So there might be a new restart within the next few months. I just want to see if there's maybe one more message. For pile number 3. What can we tell pile number 3? What do they need to know? What do they need to be aware of in terms of the career, the job situation? Any other messages for pile number 3? Something wanted to fall out, but my finger was kind of stuck in there. Any other messages for pile number 3? Do they need to be aware of in terms of career, job situation? Yeah, recovery. This is crazy. Like, this card has come up for all 3 parts, for all 3 piles. I mean, like, in every reading, this card has come up. Recovery. So something will be recovered. You will be okay. This situation will pan out in a much better way than I think you even held possible. I kind of feel the need to draw another card. For pile 3, what do they need to be aware of in terms of their career, job situation? Message for pile number 3, final message, because then I'm gonna stop with this recording. Any other messages for pile number 3? What do they need to be aware of in terms of business and career? Trust. Okay. Yeah. No, this will turn out okay. Within the next few months, there's going to be a peaceful resolution. But actually, like, so within the next few months, I actually feel like it's going to be quicker than that. I think what's happening here is that the communication that you are waiting for, that you are needing, is going to come in very soon. And it will allow you to make a change, a much needed change within the next few months. So something will be up and running. I think the roadblock that you are hitting now, or that you're feeling like you're hitting at the moment, is going to be temporary. Things will look up, things will change, and you will feel much more like the magician, like you have everything in, your skill set to be able to resolve the situation. So don't despair, everything will work out, and it's going to, I really feel a lot of energy in this pile, so I really feel that this is moving ahead quite fast. So trust, as the card is saying, trust that things will work out in the best possible way that is meant for you. Okay, I hope this resonated and that this made sense to you. And that you can actually take something away from this reading. We really enjoyed doing this, and hopefully see you next time. Thank you.